Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video. I wasn't originally going to share this with you guys, but I had a personalized, like, individual one-on-one psychic reading, and he like recorded it and everything for me for free, so I have all of the audio for it. And because of that, I thought it might be a little bit fun to share with you guys. I was very shocked at everything that he said during it, and I thought that it could be fun to share it with you guys. So a few months ago, I went to see the Long Island Median. I went to a big, it's kind of like a concert hall, and there were a ton of people there, and she just went around and did readings for whoever she could, I guess. I will link that whole video up here if you guys missed that. However, I did not get a reading that night. I feel like I didn't have good enough seats. I just wasn't close enough, all of that. And so kind of wanted to just do something else. I want to start this video by saying, if you want to comment down below and say that this is ridiculous, I need to find Jesus, this is like the devil's work, and these are evil demons that psychics are talking to and they're possessed people or something like that, you can click away from this video. I will see you guys next time. This is not the video for you. I used to think that psychics were crazy and there was no way. Now I'm like, these people, I feel like they know what they're talking about, you know? I went to church this morning. Today is Ash Wednesday. I also went to church like 3 or 4 days ago for, you know, weekly mass on Sunday. Sorry, if you're gonna be negative and comment those things, you're the one who needs to find Jesus, not me. Moving on. I have his reading here. I'm just going to play it. It's a recording. As I go through, I'm going to be listening to it back for the first time, and I'm going to tell you guys about stuff that I was surprised about, everything like that. It was a long reading, so I'm probably going to cut some things out because a half an hour straight reading without any talking is going to be a long video, and we don't want to go there. So yeah, this guy's name was Victor. He is kind of like one of the lead guys who's in charge of the psychic convention that happens every year, I believe, in Cincinnati. People in my family had found him a few years ago. They loved him. They always said that he was great. And so we had kind of a day of psychic readings. We hired him to come into one of our houses, and myself and a bunch of family members got a read from him. I had never had a psychic reading done before, but with everyone else who had multiple times said that he was phenomenal. His prices were very reasonable and everything like that. So I can link his information down below if I can find it online, but he records them and sends them to you the next day. So let's just jump right into this. Oh, before we start, I lost my mom in October of 2018. In August of 2015, I lost one of my best friends. He was 19 years old. His name was Tyler. I have lost both of my grandpas on my mom's side and my dad's side, and I think that's pretty much it for like close to me-ish. So just like a background, but let's get started.
All right, so today's February 23rd, 2020, and this is a reading for Elizabeth. Okay, I'm gonna look at your aura here. Okay, all right, this is kind of interesting what I'm seeing. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm seeing incense burning, like a little piece of cone incense.
He also had like a notebook there, and he was drawing stuff. So at this point, he drew like a triangle with like a little flame at the top.
And I'm also seeing a little bell that somebody is ringing. And so to me, these images seem to be images that are related to prayer.
See guys, I'm religious.
But there's a male tone, a male energy coming through with this. So it almost feels like there's a man that's praying for you, or kind of looking in on you. And I do feel like that.
So I do want to say, at this point, I don't know who any of these like spirits or whatever coming in are, but I'm going to let you guys in on it. This was my grandpa on my dad's side. He died. We'll go over all the details and everything about that, but I was not expecting him. I was 100% expecting like my mom to be like, I don't know, it sounds weird, but like pushing everyone else aside and be like, I want to like speak to her or whatever, you know, first. But I was not expecting this. So this is all my grandpa on my dad's side.
It feels like you're related to him. It feels like this is a relative. And I'm seeing him when you're a kid. He's an adult, and you've got a sibling. Is that a brother? Or okay.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. I said I had 2 siblings, a brother and a sister.
What birth order are you in?
Me Me, my brother, and sister.
Me, Elliot, and
So
Emily.
you're the oldest?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then the brother. Okay, and you are 23. And how old's the brother?
I got their ages wrong.
21.
And then how old's the sister?
20. Or she's 21, my brother's 22.
Yeah.
We're all right around.
21, 22, 23.
Absolutely. So anyway, the man that's coming through has his arms around you and your brother.
I think this part's hilarious. He's saying that the man that's coming through has his arms around my brother and I, but not my sister.
Guy, I mean, he looks handsome. He looks cheerful. He looks. I see him at the dinner table. I see rolls or biscuits being passed around.
Okay, so that literally meant nothing to me, but as soon as I got out of the reading, I called 2 of my aunts on my dad's side and then my dad, and I was like, yeah, I think that your dad came through. And they were like, okay, well, tell me. And I was like, he said like there are lots of like biscuits and rolls, and all 3 of them literally just cracked up. So he loved biscuits and rolls and stuff, and even though that didn't mean like anything to help me recognize him, it was funny that like all 3 of them like literally instantly were like, oh my gosh, that's my dad, you know? So the reading not only gave clarity to me, but also my aunts and dad.
He sure loves the kids. He loves kids. So let's
He
find
had
out
10
who this
kids.
guy is. Your dad's probably still alive, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any grandfathers who are deceased?
All of them.
Okay, so all of them are. Now, the way I describe this man, does he remind you of one of your grandfathers?
Not really. I wasn't really close.
I said no because I was like, I can't get anything of like dinner rolls and everything.
To relate to the descriptions
I was like, both of them probably liked rolls. I don't know.
Friendly guy, good guy, easygoing guy. People liked him. People liked him. I kind of feel like he worked on a car or worked on his car.
And that's the part.
Who is that?
My grandpa on my dad's side.
Yeah, the
Your
car
dad's
part
dad.
is what got it to me. Realizing that when he said working on a car, something clicked in my mind and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, maybe this guy is legit, because there's no way that you could just like, I don't know that, I guess.
What's his name?
Harold.
Okay, and do you know when he died?
I did not know. I was just trying to remember that I think I was in high school or just out of high
Let's
school
see,
maybe.
If it was 7 years ago, you would have been like 15 or 16?
Yeah.
Is that right? You were 15 or so?
Around there, probably.
Okay. He's coming through.
Okay.
And then there's a woman also coming in from the spirit world, and she's an older woman.
So at this point, I was thinking like maybe this is my great grandma because that's whose house we were in. He kept mentioning like sewing needles. She looked like your stereotypical grandma, all of that. What he concluded though was the way that my grandpa was acting towards her. That was not on my mom's side. He concluded that this was my grandpa's mother. And I guess from talking to my aunt, my grandpa like just adored his mother, took such good care of her and everything like that. So I guess these were like things that my grandpa wanted to get across to his kids. I was kind of like, in the video, I was kind of being very short with him because I wasn't sure that I trusted him completely yet. And I kind of wanted to get away from talking about grandparents and talk about my own mom. But like, in a reading, they can't move on until that spirit gets out of the way. So we had to completely go through this whole process before moving on to something else.
The way that Harold is responding to her or reacting to her, I'd have to say this has to be his mom, because it feels like those two are close and that they know each other.
So he just keeps going on kind of about my grandpa. I'm gonna fast forward through this because to me this isn't the most important part of the reading, at least for me, but it was really cool to be able to call my aunts and dad and be like, your dad tried to talk to me today, you know? And to just know like that I had completely forgotten that like he even could come through, and for him to start by saying, oh, this man's praying for you, like he loves you, he's proud of you. I was like, so, you know. Okay, I want to say with this next part that he's almost done talking about my grandpa now. And when I went in, I took off my wedding ring. I was told by like friends and stuff before that like, oh, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, I can see that you're married. So I was like, I'm gonna take it off. I had my hands under the table anyway, so he wouldn't have had any idea to bring this up. Obviously, I still look like a child, so most younger people aren't married, but I guess he felt the need to ask.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about marriage. Are you married?
I just
Were you nervous about it? Were you scared?
I said that I was a little bit nervous, which I literally told no one. I was a little bit hesitant to get married because everyone in my family is divorced. It doesn't typically work out. You know, I was like, what if I'm literally making a horrible mistake right now and this is awful? David and I had a really tough year after my mom died because I went from living in her house and having her literally take care of every tiny little need I had to buying a house with him and living with him and having to do like housework with him and cooking and cleaning and buying groceries and making decisions for the house and stuff. And it was just like growing up really fast. So we had a lot of arguments, and I knew that was just because we started living together. But at the same time, I was like, gosh, should I get married, you know, because most people get divorced anyway. And I was just very hesitant about that, but I didn't tell anyone because I was like, I know this is just because we're living together. But the fact that he asked and like picked up on that, I was blown away. Like, what? All because like I don't want to like reveal myself or whatever on camera, but like when in like the heart of like us getting angry at one another, I would like sit there and be like, oh my gosh, literally one of the only reasons I feel like I need to hang on and like fight through this is because my mom told me that she knew this man was the one for me. And I know that like the great days are great and worth all of this, and she knew that he was the one for me. I wish I could just ask her and be like, well, now that we're living together and we argue about the dishes and the recycling, you still think so? So like in my mind I was like, I wonder what my mom would say. And the fact that he like picked up on this, and then literally he's about to go on a rant about how blessed I am in my marriage, how great my husband is, what a great guy he is, all of that. So I literally paid for a reading to be told how great my husband is. In case I didn't know. I just think it's so funny.
But you know, your grandpa Harold is saying that he was there at the wedding, and he was very proud. Let me describe what he's showing me, and then you can maybe ask your dad. He's showing me a funeral, and there are red roses being placed on the coffin, and the coffin, I believe, is being lowered into the ground.
I vaguely remember my grandpa's funeral, but he asked me if I had any ideas of like what that was, and I was like, me just pulling his strings being like, come on buddy, read my mom somewhere. I was like, I don't know, maybe it could be my mom. My mom did not have red roses. Everything at her funeral was blue. She was cremated. She was not buried in the ground. So like the fact that the casket was lowered in the ground in his like vision, I was not sure what he meant by that. And yeah, but I was literally pulling his strings like, maybe it's my mom. And he was like, oh no, no.
Dead? She's showing me red roses at a funeral, and I don't know if it's your mom's funeral or his own funeral, but he was there. Okay, enough of Harold. We're going to move on to you. I'm going to look at the tarot cards.
So I had like shuffled them and put them out.
The cards are indicating,
and I was worried. They like looked scary.
It feels
but he
like
said
things
it's
are
good.
Going well, and it feels like this is a time of improvements, basically. You know, stepping on up in your life, things going well, feeling good about things. Did you say you were married 2 years ago, or?
Like a month and a half ago.
Oh my God, a month and a half, 1.5 months. What's your spouse's first name?
David.
And how old is he?
He turned 24 2 days ago.
The fact that these cards are so positive, I do not feel that you made a mistake in marrying David. So now that you got a month and a half of marriage under your belt, how are you feeling about it? You feel good about it? Now listen, he does treat you well, doesn't he? So I think that that is good.
I'm usually the problem.
To me, I really like all of this. And even though the fact that David is relatively young, I do feel that he's actually a pretty responsible guy and a pretty hardworking guy. What does he do for work?
He's a financial advisor.
Is he capable of doing any work around the house, like handyman stuff?
He tries.
He does try.
That's more me.
Oh, you do more of that? But he does try also. Okay. All right. So these cards show things getting better. This shows a close family. This shows affection, gifts being given and received. This is a warm, fuzzy card. It's a great card for relationships. And I feel that David gets along well with people. So, do your folks, does your dad like him? Does family members like him? Yeah, I can see why, because
everyone loves David. Maybe not on the vlogs, because he's not a very happy person when I get out my camera, but everyone loves David. From literally the first day that I introduced him.
He's coming across really good. Listen, Elizabeth, I think you chose well. So
I did. I know.
I feel like, in general, and this is also something the Herald's showing me, you're entering a time in your life in which you're going to realize that you're doing very well. Okay? It's a time of luck. See, the thing I like about David is he's gentle with you. Right? That's really great. I mean, he's patient with you. He's gentle with you.
And these are words that I would like
with you.
Use to describe him.
24, he's functioning way more mature than that. And I think that that's very, very admirable. Now, this card here sometimes indicates somebody who's waiting. Sometimes it indicates discontentment, but I am going to talk about children or raising a family or having kids. Have you decided to postpone that, or where are you with that?
We're waiting with that.
Okay, and what are you waiting for?
Isn't this personal?
Travelers. We want to travel more before.
Okay, so you're going to give it a couple years where you're...
His reading with my cousin, he told her a baby boy was going to be sliding down from heaven to someone soon. She asked him if it was her, and he said no, and so I got in there and I was like, if he tells me I have a baby boy sliding down from heaven, I don't want it right now. Tell it to wait. But good news is, he's going to tell me all about the kids.
Enjoying life before you start a family, right? I feel good about that. I think that's the right decision to make. And then with this card here, for some reason the spirits are telling me that you're doing okay financially. So is David making decent money? Are you making decent money? Okay, so money's not a problem, right? Okay, good. And I see you traveling to visit different cities in the United States.
Would he have known this?
And I see you doing, restaurants, maybe tasting some wine.
How would he have known that? David and I are trying to run a half marathon in each of the 50 states, so every couple of weeks we go out to a new city, run a half marathon, eat, try new foods, whatever there. How would he have known that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Good food, is that something you guys enjoy?
We're doing a half marathon in each of the 50 states. So we go to different random cities all the time.
To run marathons?
Yeah.
And it's in every state?
Yes.
And it's in a big city in the state?
We're just random cities, whatever we can find.
Oh, your goal is to go to all 50 states and run a marathon in all 50 states. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So I'd imagine, like, when you're there, you probably do splurge on a nice meal.
We do, because we don't do that at home.
I want to talk about states that the two of you will end up liking, okay?
Okay, so this is bizarre. There is no way he would have known this. I don't really ever tell anyone this, but David and I constantly talk about moving across the country. It used to be a dream of both of ours to pick up and like move somewhere else up until my mom died, and then I decided I wanted to root myself here. I didn't want to leave. I had my business, I had my close family, and I liked, the security of being here. He talks all the time about picking up. His job is across the country. He can just choose a new branch, transfer there, and then he has a job. We're good to go. We don't tell anyone that. We don't tell our family that. We don't tell anyone that. And the fact that this guy is about to tell me that that's what we talk about all the time, I was like, what?
They're not the same states.
Yeah, the states that we want to live in aren't the same states, according to him.
I see David being attracted to Florida.
I'm not sure why he said Florida,
being attracted more to the southwestern United States, which would
Arizona,
be
Utah,
California, New Mexico, Arizona. you know, that
David
section
not
of the
to
country.
Florida, but
You
you know.
I do feel like if you two ever decided to move, one of you would have to give in, because one of you is going to want to go to one area.
I'd have to give in because
while
I'd have
the
to give
other
up all
would
my
prefer
loyal
a
clients here, and I don't want to do
different
that
area.
yet.
There
I
will
wouldn't have a
to be
job
some
unless
compromising.
YouTube just takes off,
But
you know?
has David already expressed an interest in living in near the water, at the ocean, on the beach? Is that correct? Well, that would work if you're in Southern California. But
He's
it
trying to
wouldn't work
convince
if
me to
you're in
move.
Mexico or Arizona. And then the company that he works for, is it a big company? Is it like a nationwide company? The feeling that I'm getting is that he could
How would he have
potentially get a
known?
transfer.
I did not tell him
Now,
the name
have you
before.
guys talked about it? Florida, is that what you're thinking? Or
He'd like to move out of this area, but I'm self-employed based on this area. So
what do you do?
I'm a photographer, so all of my clients live here.
But you could, yeah, sure, you'd have to start over.
Who wants to do that? Not me.
Probably the way to do it.
But this guy's like, yeah, I'd be fine.
They have a lot
Go
of
for
beach
it.
weddings in Florida. So, you know, you might be able to get in on that. I think you would actually be able to start a business new, do very, very well. Because I think you're good at what you do. Right?
I am if you need a
Is this your own
photographer.
business?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that you are good at what you do, and I also feel that when you interview a client about the project,
He had
you
no
ask them all
idea.
the right
I
questions.
sit down and meet my clients.
You know, do you want these? Do you want
This is true.
this angle? Do you want that angle? You know, you want to know exactly what they want, and you are really detail oriented. So you'll probably kind of create a little plan, like a little outline, like, you know, we'll do this at this location, we'll do this at that location.
I also used to be
And
wedding coordinator,
so I, think you're really
so I
very
make
good
a whole
at what you
timeline
do.
for my
You seem
clients if they ask.
responsible, and you definitely seem client centered,
That's
where you want to make
me.
sure to give them what they want, and that equals happy customers.
We love that.
We love that.
So and happy customers spread the word. I'd imagine you get word of mouth.
That's the only way to get business.
Yeah.
It's the only
So
way I
that
get
could happen in
business.
Florida.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to check it out. I really think that you and David, there's everything here to me shows successful marriage.
That's good.
We love
So,
that. The most important
we
thing,
did
you
talk
know.
about, and you know, sometimes starting over in a new town, sometimes you end up being even more successful than you were in the old town. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you guys ended up living in Florida one day. That's what it feels like to me. And
I don't know
if
about that. I
were
don't
to
think
guess
so.
where in Florida, I might even
This
guess
is
Tampa.
wild.
Have you thought of Tampa, St. Pete? Have you ever been there?
On one of our first, like the first time I like met David, we met in junior high, but the first time like we hung out and talked and stuff, he pulled into my driveway to pick me up for a road trip down to Florida. I had never really talked to him or met him or anything before, and we went right outside of Tampa. How do you know? I don't know. That's where we met, and the rest is history.
And I also want to tell you that David is definitely family oriented. I do feel he will want children. I'm sure you two have overlaid the conversation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you both want kids, right? I see you with more than one. I see you with a minimum of two, possibly with three, but number three's not for sure, but I definitely see two for sure. I feel like they will be different genders. So I feel like you will have to me, here's what it looks like. A boy and a girl, and the third one would be a boy if you had a third one.
Okay.
Okay? And the boy and the girl, I'm not sure what order they're in, but it's boy, girl, boy.
That noise is him
Probably.
hitting the table going, boy, girl, boy.
But,
We already have our
I think
boy
it's the
in.
former, if that feels more right to me, the boy, girl, boy. Okay, and I also want to say that David will be a wonderful father, but he will be a little on the strict side.
This surprises me because he is not with Finn.
Which is good because
I'm strict with Finn and
children
he is
need
not.
I don't mean strict in a bad way. I mean in a good way. And the kids will be raised where they know what the parents expect. That'll be crystal clear. And so the kids will know, and you know what, these are not going to be spoiled kids. I feel like David does not want spoiled kids. I feel that he wants kids that help out around the house and have responsibilities where it's a team, and that way mom and dad aren't stuck doing everything for them. And I think that is a good way to be. Yeah. Why am I hearing a fishing,
this blows my
a
mind.
Fishing line? Does David fish?
No.
Do you know whether Harold fished?
He did not.
Well, I'm hearing a fishing line, and I'm hearing a splash. So that's coming from someone who fishes. I don't know who, but if there's someone in the spirit world who's...
Is it a male?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend that passed away when I was 19. He fished.
Really? Okay. What's his
I like
name?
how I surprised him there.
Okay. Now, you two, he really loved you, didn't he? Were you two real good friends? That's him. He's really a happy guy, and he really adores you. I mean, you two must have been pretty tight. The way he's showing me, he's going like this. He's pointing at himself, and he's saying, "Oh yeah."
He's saying he was going.
Was it more than a friendship?
No.
Really? You were just really good friends and did everything together, tied at the hip for a period of time. How did he die?
With a motorcycle accident.
How sad. Well, that's a big loss.
So that's me. That's Tyler. He's the one who passed away. That's David. And then that was David's best man, Rob, on our trip to Florida. And then that's David and I. And then that's Tyler back there photobombing us. These are pictures we had at our memory table at our wedding.
The reason it was a big loss, it would be a big loss no matter who died that way, but it's especially a big loss when someone's so well liked, someone's so likable, and so fun, so funny. You know, when someone like that dies, it's even harder. Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wanted to make an appearance. He's so happy he was able to come into the reading and that you remembered him. And he's showing me something about either popsicles or shaved ice.
We went on vacation together to Florida, and we went and got like ice cream, stuff like that, almost every night.
Okay, there we go. Okay. And he's showing me it kind of melting.
Yes.
I literally
it's
have a
dripping
picture of
down,
it like
it's
melting
dripping
down
your
the
hand.
hand.
Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then he is going to be at your birthday party. Are you planning to have a party?
That was my timer going off, but
Surprise party.
the birthday party thing, David is awful at surprises, but he's been asking me if I want him to plan my birthdays next month, if I want him to plan a surprise party for me. And the fact that, like, no one else knew that. Like, no one else knew that David was going to plan a surprise party. David doesn't believe in, like, psychics or whatever. And the fact that this guy was like, Tyler's going to be at your birthday party. And, like, it's not even, like, officially made or planned yet. Like, that is wild to me. It, like, makes, like, chills and, like, happiness down my spine. Like, I miss Tyler.
Well,
Keep secrets.
obviously you can't keep secrets. It's not a surprise.
That's David, yeah.
If he's telling you about it. But Tyler will be at the party because he still considers you to be a close friend, even though he's dead. And he says, tell her to remember that he loves you. Okay, isn't that sweet?
Like, literally, that made the whole thing worth
Do you have any
it.
questions?
So, that was my reading. That last little bit, like, made the whole thing worth it to me. Because, like, obviously I know David's a great person. I love him so much. I didn't really get much out of my reading with my grandpa. But, like, that, like, with the Tyler part about Tyler with, like, the smile on his face and, like, going like this. Like, oh, yeah, we were so close. And, like, the ice cream melting and him, like, being in my party that's not planned yet. And, like, let her know how much I love her. Like, that means the world to me. My mom did not come through on this reading. She did with my grandma, though. And that's okay. I know that I'm fine. My grandma really wanted to hear from her, though. And she basically came through to my grandma and said that she's just so happy up there because she doesn't have any of the financial or life burdens like that you have here, that she's so proud of us. She lives in each of her 3 kids' hearts every day, and basically that she's, even though she's gone, she still parents us every day, but she's so happy. She has the biggest smile on her face. She said that everyone up there just loves her so much, that she's hanging out. But that is it for today's video. I know it was long, but I thought a lot of that was important, at least for me to remember. Y'all don't have to watch the whole thing. If you did make it this far, you're a gem, you're the best. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm thinking, one of my friends recommended someone else, and I'm thinking I'm going to take a little road trip to go see them and get a reading from them also, just because I thought this was so much fun. I used to think these were like bizarre, like, oh, keep away from me, I don't even want to mess with it, but now I'm like, wow, there's no way he could have known all that. Like, I don't know, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!